Hello, and welcome to this webinar on rest and relaxation. I'm Dr. Almadel Smith from the National Mass Violence and Victimization Resource Center, here to talk about how the importance of rest and relaxation in dealing with the distress that often follows a mass violence event or any traumatic event. How important it is just to be able to unwind. So it may be common sense that people say, well, what do you mean about resting? Of course I rest. But oftentimes people maintain a high degree of stress. And so we want to talk today about getting the most from the downtime that you have, whether it's your sleep or brief periods of rest throughout the day. So we're going to talk a little bit about just how much tension you may be carrying, issues of acute and chronic stress, and how it changes us both physically, emotional, and spiritually. And the importance of rest and relaxation as part of the cure for a traumatic stress event. Tips on naps and letting go of tension. And then at the end, let's do it, a 12-minute relaxation practice, with then wrapping up with a moment of reflection on how you can integrate this into your life. So take a moment to check yourself. How tired are you today on a scale of 1 to 10? How wired are you today? Meaning how tense or anxious you may be feeling. How much sleep did you get? And then what, if anything, keeps you from resting more? Are there expectations? Do you think there's no time? And interestingly, what are your family views on resting and relaxation? Some families feel that they need to be on the go and achieving almost all the time. Others enjoy their relaxation time. So then checking, what is your attitude about resting during the day, especially? So acute stress is caused by a major challenging event. That can be a small car wreck. It could be an argument. It could be a quite difficult situation. But the acute stress is about one particular event. Traumatic stress is where it's a hugely frightening, where you think maybe you could have lost your life, or a loved one could have lost their life, or you were injured, or somebody that you cared about was injuring. Those are acute stress situations. Chronic stress is where the stress just goes on and on and on. Maybe financial difficulties, it may be family difficulties, a challenging child, chronic illness. These are the kinds of things that just go on and on. There may be traumatic reactions, losses of other kinds, environmental stresses. So we want to make the difference between acute stress, which happens and then maybe pass, and chronic stress that goes on and on. The impact on the body of stress is that we get tight muscles, maybe get anxious, agitated. That leads to fatigue. The tight muscles can also lead to headaches. All of that can create sleep disturbance, and any illness that you may be having ordinarily could get worse. So coping takes a lot of energy. It's like running a marathon. That's why it's so important to rest. So just kind of going through, again, some of the body reactions to a frightening event is, we call it the alarm goes off. It's the sympathetic nervous system, which is also known as fight or flight, that's driven by adrenaline. And you may have all had that feeling or know what that feeling is. You get the heart pounding, your breath quickens, you get jittery and anxious, on guard, the shoulders go up, your tight muscles. As they say, you're ready to pounce or run. Another thing that happens when the alarm goes off is what's called scanning for danger. That means we're on the lookout for the next threat. There's a watchfulness, there's a mistrust, there's persistent thoughts of what if this could happen? What if that could happen? And when you're in the middle of scanning for danger, you're less able to do complex thinking, such as long division, taxes, writing essays, whatever else that you may be needing to do in terms of complex thinking. Mood is changes. We get irritable, impatient. The other thing is that it burns up a lot of energy when we're in that state of high arousal. There's a release of sugars, after which people want ice cream and sweet things. But that can also affect if you have any kind of pre-diabetic or diabetic issues, endocrine issues. Uh, this kind of alarm arousal situation can disrupt that sugar. Um, Other systems, like your digestion slows down. Sometimes you get irritable bowel symptoms. The blood shifts away from internal organs towards the muscles, so that changes how your body functions long term. And eventually, if you stay uh, in that excited state day after day, there's an eventual exhaustion. So, the thing that drives this agitation or the anxiety are stress hormones: adrenaline, norepinephrine, cortisol. They're released into the body to increase your heart rate and the muscle tension and all of that. So, depending on what's stressing you out and how you personally handle stress, it could take anywhere from half an hour to a couple of days to return to your normal resting state. If you get upset from a phone call, it might take you half an hour to kind of calm down afterwards, depending on what it was about. But if it's a really difficult situation, it could take you a couple of days. You're still thinking about it. You can just still feel that sort of distress, keeps you awake, that sort of thing. But a traumatic event, such as mass violence or an injury, or violence to someone you care about, this agitation can take 6 weeks or longer for the body to metabolize back to a normal situation. And one of the ways that we shorten that time is make sure that you learn to completely calm in between the times that you feel agitated again. All of this is sort of driven by the kinds of memories, intrusive thoughts, thinking about what if, what's going to happen next. I can't believe this has happened. The loss that I feel is so strong. Our thoughts really contribute a lot to maintaining that sense of agitation and anxiety. So in the body, you get muscle tension hotspots. I want to go back briefly to see this picture where the head is forward. That means that the center of gravity is no longer balanced right on top of the spinal cord, but as it leans forward, the muscles along the upper back and the neck become strained, and that can contribute a lot to headaches. So the shoulders are tight, the head is forward. It's sort of like trying to have a bowling ball on a broomstick. Your head actually feels rather heavy, and the more it goes forward, the more you're likely to have upper back uh, postural difficulties. Another hot spot is the jaw. Uh, People may grit their teeth in anger. You have to smile when you don't feel like it. The face becomes tense. Knitted brows, eyes tired. If you have a band of tension around your head or pain behind the eyes, these are tension headaches that are very much driven by the muscle tension that's carried in the body. If you have a lower back pain, that may be postural and you may need strength exercises or some kind of adjustment. And think about what kind of chair you're sitting in. Sometimes hands are a hot spot where you're holding the phone in one position or tension at the keyboard. And all of these, stretching is important. And we may forget to stretch our hands as well as the back and shoulders. Now, the great thing is there is the opposite of the alarm system, and that is the calm down system. It's also called rest and digest, or the parasympathetic nervous system. So, fortunately, our bodies have a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine that signals your body to start unwinding whatever that adrenaline has been driving it to do. So, as a result, breathing slows, heart rate slows, the blood vessels relax. That means your blood pressure is going to go down. Digestion returns. This is the rest and digest. Blood sugar resets, and the nervous cells slowly desensitize and become less reactive. A nerve cell membrane will change as a result of traumatic stress, and that change can be maintained for days. Uh, but as we rest, as everything calms down, that that cell membrane will return to its normal function. As we calm, our thoughts become calmer, problem solving returns, sleep comes, and best of all, healing happens. One of the fundamental treatments for any disease or disorder is rest and quiet. So we're talking about how you can achieve that. And that is the question many people have. How do I calm down? I try to calm down and I can't. So we know that the chronic stress has the daily lives are ups and downs. It can go on and on, whether this is COVID, whether this is family stress, whether it's work stress, any of those practical things that are stressful. The way we return to a good zone is by complete rest and relaxation. But the question is how, when life is full and demanding and I have no time. So I'm going to be talking about all kinds of tips and tricks about how you can get the most out of relaxation. Before we do that, just remind you of what people do instead of rest. They may think they're resting, but they're not really. They look at their phones or screens, but there may be news or other kinds of things that are not fully resting. Watch TV, talk on the phone, play video games, read, drink alcohol. I feel guilty for resting. So just take a moment and let me ask you, what do you do when you think you're relaxing, but maybe it isn't fully relaxing? Instead, we'll be talking about taking the time to just relax and not do anything else. But before we do that, again, thinking about the types of rest. Sometimes it's a 1 minute rest, or maybe you need 2 full weeks of being off duty and away from obligations before you can fully feel calm. Sometimes looking at clouds, meandering around, doing nothing in particular, puttering in the garden. There's also restorative meditation, which some people find extremely relaxing, where they sit quietly and breathe and do a meditation practice. Power naps, we'll talk about that. And then the deep muscle relaxation is where we take 10 or 15 minutes and maybe not go completely asleep, but almost. And at the end of this webinar, we'll do a 10-minute relaxation. So again, a kind of self-reflection. When do you need a longer rest? You think you just need a few short ones or a really much longer complete relaxation? In talking about sleep, one of the interesting things are these micro sleeps. They're short, last from a fraction of a second to about 30 seconds. It's called nodding off, and it's generally caused by mental fatigue and lack of enough sleep. Um, and the important thing is, let's not do this when you're driving. But again, they can make a big difference, even if it's only that 30-second where you just have a recovery. The power nap is another kind of sleep that is quite amazing in its restorative abilities. So it lasts from about 15 to 20 minutes. It can restore your alertness. You can reduce your mental fatigue, and it can make up for a night of poor sleep. Here, there's an interesting tip that if you are going to take a power nap, have a caffeine right before you nap to improve the post-nap alertness and your cognitive functioning. So you have a cup of tea or half a cup of coffee or whatever it may be, and then go right into the power nap, lie your head down and go right to sleep. Set the timer for 15 or 20 minutes and come back up out of that sleep. And by that time, the caffeine has started to have an effect, and you're going to be feeling much more alert again. It's recommended that you don't do this more than about once a week, though. Don't make a habit of this particular trick. For teenagers, this is a side note. They're growing very fast. Their hormonal changes are huge, and they need about 9 hours of night. Typically, they prefer to go to bed later and later, which doesn't always fit the family schedule or the school schedule. If they go to bed late and then they have to get up early, they can develop a chronic sleep debt. So even teaching teens that a short 20-minute nap after school or some longer recovery sleep up to 90 minutes on the weekends can help. And this is often when teenagers want to sleep until noon, and that is an important part of recovering from any sleep debt that they may have. So how long should you nap for your maximum productivity? And the researchers have done some interesting work on this. And one of the things they show is if you only nap for 20 minutes, then you can get an energy boost. It's relatively easy to wake up. Sometimes I just have a 12-minute nap. I just trained myself. I drop into sleep, and then after 12, 15 minutes, wake up again and feel much better, ready to go on with my day with more energy. If you sleep into 30 minutes or more, coming back up, there's a sense of grogginess, and you have to kind of shake it off before you can feel like you're ready to go again. If you have the time to do an hour and a half, then you're going to have a full REM cycle. You may have some dreams. Your creativity improves. Now, that's the kind of nap that you might need if you had a poor night's sleep the night before. The important thing is probably not to take this nap later than 3 in the afternoon. So if you're able to do it right after lunch for an hour and a half, you might feel a tremendous benefit from that. An hour's nap gives you some grogginess, but it also improves memory. So when you decide to nap, just think about what you want to get out of your nap, set a timer, and truly, if your body is demanding a long sleep and you have the time, go for that 90 minutes because sleep debt is real. People often have interrupted sleep, or they go to bed too late, have to get up early. Their schedules are really tight. So anytime you can begin to catch up on your sleep is important. So how do you find those moments? Do you have control over your schedule? Are you able to shift your schedule a little bit to allow more rest? Do you plan time between events? Does too much time disappear looking at the phone? Are you overcommitted? These are kinds of things that can keep you from resting. So, in thinking about when is a good time for you, uh, there may be, is there times that you could just take a long sighing breath, which is just breathing in to the count of 4 or 5, and then relaxing and letting the breath out. And do 4 or 5 of those long breaths can make bring your tension levels down. Maybe you need to do the progressive muscle relaxation for 10 or 12 minutes, and I'll show you how we're going to do that in a couple of minutes. So just beginning to think, do you have a break at work? Can you take a break where you just let your tension out, just become like a rag doll? Uh, I worked with somebody whose favorite time to relax was in the car before going into the house. There's driving, there's traffic, it's the end of some errands or the work day. Park the car and then don't just jump out. Sit there quietly for a few moments and relax before you go into the house. Some people, it's right after changing out of work clothes, they get in a comfortable situation. And again, not to go watch TV or something else that you think is relaxing, but just take that moment to lie completely still, do some breathing, and let the tensions just drain out. If you have kids, you nap when the children nap, siesta after lunch. Just thinking for you, when are good times that you can take these short rests? Again, thinking about the best place, um, at home in the recliner, on the bed, on the floor, outdoors, at work, even at your desk, at the bench outside if there's a place to sit outside. Is there a conference room that's quiet? Another place to rest is when you're waiting for something. I mean, how many times are we have an appointment and we have to wait for 10 minutes? Or we're waiting for somebody else to get ready. So these are times, rather than getting agitated and let your anxiety go up, just say, oh, I have a chance to rest. So where's the best place? Any place. So taking a moment to imagine a safe and restful place. It could be a familiar or imaginary spot. What are the details, the light, the colors? And think about 3 ways you like to relax. And note 3 times that you can relax. And this image of a safe and restful place is something when I talk you through the relaxation exercise, you can keep that image in your mind. So in a few moments, I'll lead you through a progressive muscle relaxation. This is my favorite exercise of all time. I've used it for 40 years. Well, 50 now, after college when I first learned it. It's carried me through a great many difficult situations and stressful work situations, as well as at home, especially with small children. So anyway, I'll talk you through several muscle groups, and I ask you to notice the sensations of tightness followed by the relaxation. Notice if tightness creeps back into a muscle. Let your mind signal the muscles to relax, and let thoughts come and go. And at the end, remember how you do this. So let's begin. Get yourself in a comfortable situation. Hopefully, your chair, you can relax on the bed or in the couch, or in a little easy chair. And begin to take some slow, deep breaths all the way in to your belly. In through your nose and then out through your mouth. And after a couple of these deep breaths, let your eyes close and begin to relax even more as you exhale. If you like to keep your eyes half open, that's okay too. Or if any time you feel like you want to just slightly open your eyes and then close them again, that's fine too. Just beginning to settle into your body and into that sense of deep relaxation. Now, in a moment, let your awareness go to your right hand and forearm and make a tight fist with your hand. And feel the tension in your fingers and your thumb and your forearm as you hold that tightness so that you really become aware of those tight muscles. And then let go and relax. And notice the change as the muscles relax and unwind. There's a real difference that you can feel. Again, make a tight fist with your right hand. Feel that tightness again, not just in the hand, but in the forearm. And then relax. Good. Let your right hand continue to relax and let your awareness go now to your left hand. And make a tight fist with your left hand. Hold that tightness. And then notice the difference between the tight left hand and the relaxed right hand. Increasing your awareness of these changes. As you hold your left hand, it's tight. And then release and feel those muscles let go. And then feel the muscles relax even more. So that now your arms can feel heavy and relaxed. Next, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears and feel the tightness across your upper back. You might move a little bit and just feel the tightness of those muscles, holding them up, and then let them go. Letting the shoulders drop down and release. And then surprisingly, there may still be some tension, and see if you can release it a little more, another quarter inch. Again, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. There's often a lot of tension across the upper back. And then let go and relax. Letting your arms feel heavy and relaxed. Let your awareness go now to your face and your jaw. Tighten the face by pulling your lips back like you're going to say E. And feel the tightness across your face. Squint your eyes. Pull back. Notice that. And then let go and relax. The face has dozens and dozens of muscles that can hold tension. To let your jaw relax, move your tongue forward slightly so it touches the back of your teeth. And that can relax your jaw. Take a few moments now to become aware of your breath again. Just follow the sensations of breathing in and out. And in a few moments, take a long, deep breath in and hold it. And feel the tightness of holding the breath. And then let go and relax as you exhale. Another long, deep breath in. Feeling the air as it comes in. Feel that moment at the top. The turning of the breath. And then relaxing again. And you can notice the turning of the breath at the bottom as well. So continue to breathe slowly and easily, noticing the softness of the air, how it's cool as you breathe in, warmer as you breathe out. Letting your breath become gentle and even. Now let your awareness go to your right leg. If you're in a chair, you can press down to the floor. If you're lying down, just lift it slightly, bringing your toe towards your head, and tighten all the muscles in the leg, in that right leg, as tight as you can, holding it tight. Feel the tension, and then relax. Just let the leg drop, and feel relaxation spread all the way down to your toes. Let your awareness now go to your left leg, and the same thing, either press down or lift up, tightening those muscles, the whole leg, and then release. And now let your legs feel heavy and relaxed. During this time, you may have noticed your thoughts wandering in and out, sometimes paying attention to the exercise, sometimes thinking other thoughts or wondering what's this like or anything like that. And that's perfectly normal. One of the ways to bring the thoughts back is to let your awareness just follow the air going in and out of your lungs. But I'm also going to invite you now, as you let your body continue to relax, to imagine that peaceful spot that we talked about earlier, or a different one if it comes to you. Some place that just feels safe and relaxing. So whatever has happened in your life, in this moment, in this image, let yourself feel safe. That it's okay to let your guard down. It's okay to relax. It's okay to unwind. If you were to do this exercise before bed, you could then just let yourself drift off to sleep. But today, we're just taking a few moments to let your arms feel heavy and relaxed. Let your legs feel heavy and relaxed. Let your breathing be gentle and even. And let your mind become calm and quiet. As we end the exercise, take a moment to notice what it feels like when you've done a relaxation exercise. What do you like about it? But also take a moment to remember how you got there, by tensing and relaxing muscles, by slow, deep breathing, and by letting your mind become calm and quiet. In a few moments, I'll count backwards from 5 to 1. At 5, noticing any sensations that tell you relaxation has happened. At 4, you may want to move or stretch a little bit, wiggle your toes. At 3, take a long breath to begin to wake up. At 2, become aware of the room. And whenever you're ready at 1, to let your eyes open and ready to go on with your day. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This regulating how your body is either tense or relaxed is an important life skill that will carry you through many difficult situations, including if you're calm and relaxed, then the people around you are more likely to be calm as well. You're more likely to be able to think clearly about concerns that you may have. So I hope that this is something that you'll find useful and that you can remember. Asking you now, just how tense do you feel on that scale of 1 to 10? Can you notice a difference? And I guess another question is, how did you let thoughts come and go? Because thoughts are sometimes the thing that keeps us kind of riled up a bit. And the important thing of how we let them go by returning your awareness to the breath, the sensations of relaxation, heavy arms, heavy legs, and then reminding yourself to let your mind become calm and quiet. So this is the end of this rest and relaxation. Just remember, self-care is not selfish. And we hope that you enjoy the other webinars in this resiliency series. Thank you.